Lasers. Lasers are so...
90s?
I was gonna say 70s. Can you please stop making me feel old?
Got bad news for you, Sam. You are old.
Hello there, Sir from 17 once again. This is my Chaos Theory expert difficulty video walkthrough. It is also a 100% one as well. So at the very beginning of this mission, you need to go and hit the box at the right, which is something that I forgot to do more times than I'd like to admit. And then we're going to be pushing down this street to get into the basement of the bathhouse. I'm going to be doing quite an aggressive strategy here because I've done it several times. This is an infamous mission for all the wrong reasons, and I'm hoping you don't have my level of just sheer suffering that I had with this one, and many others did as well. So now that that street is done, we're going to be pushing into the basement of the bathhouse. Some of these moments here where the lighting is all controlled and it's, you know, quite small areas, the graphics look really good. Obviously, if you look directly at some of the textures, they look rough as fuck, and the same with some of the models, but I think when you just glance it looks really, really, really well put together. But here is the washing room, or the drying room, or whatever. There's one guy in front of me, if you're having issues seeing the picture. I'm going to come up and clop him, like that, take his jaw off, and then we're going to push through this doorway. This leads up into the heart of the front of the bathhouse, where a lot of the staff are, where a lot of guards are, and also where there is a dude working on the skylight, which is something worth knowing. In this room, I shoot a quick ring airfoil round at that guy. You don't have to if you don't want to. As I've mentioned, I've done this quite a few times, so this is going to be one of the sharpest run-throughs of a mission because of just sheerly how much I've done it. So this is the door that leads into the area I was talking about. The lighting in here is really good. It's good for you, but it adjusts, and it's the adjustments that make it bad. You'll notice that there's people walking around the central, like, antechamber area with torches. There's also a staff member who just walked into that room to my right. I put this light out, and then I walk through the foyer just to this area here, and I'm going to hug this wall where the darkness is at its most intense. He's going to turn away. I'm waiting for his buddy to turn away, because there's two of them. As soon as they both turn, we're going to move into that next area. Doesn't look like I'm in shadow here, but trust me, you are. So they have a conversation. He goes his way. Other guy goes other way. Come on, do it, bitches. As I mentioned, a lot of waiting in this particular section. But this path is gold. You can hear the music getting all intense as well. It's doing its little crazy progressive drum stuff. So here this guy comes. Go on. Go away. Go away. There it is. Now we need to move. So, I don't need to tell you that you have to tread carefully. In this game, you always have to tread carefully. That being said, we are on mats right now, so mats are easier to move across. But right now is the optimum speed of silent movement. And it's one of those things that your fingers will eventually get it the more you play. We're going to pull this guy all the way over here into this back room. Nobody will come in this back room, which is good, and there is a vent in here that will lead into the room where that staff member was walking into when we were in the other area. We're going to use that later on, but you need to be careful when you do, because that staff member's a bitch. Technically a civilian, all bitch. So now that we've done that, we're going to go outside here, but you have to watch the frosted glass, because I don't know where he is. There he is now. He's always on the right. Be very careful here. He's got very good periphery vision. Get your ass out on this street and knock him out quickly, because he's going to turn around. He does not dilly-dally. Whatever that is. What is a dilly-dally? You know, really? Is it some kind of flower? Sounds like it could be. But put him over here, drop him in the darkness, and then we're going to be climbing up the outside of the bathhouse into a room. And I should really note, for anybody who didn't watch the other video, that knocking out civilians does not count against you in the grading system for 100%. The people that are spreading that bullshit online are just mistaken and don't know enough about the game. I really don't understand why people choose to populate such opinions when they are blatantly wrong. It's one of those sophisms that I just don't really understand. And as compelling and as clever as they put their points, it's still false. So you need to just be aware that there's a lot of ignorance, guys. And hopefully this video will help you smash some of it, even though I might add to it in some areas. But wait for this guy to turn around. He's then going to go and lay on the bed. From there you can leave him or knock him out. It's entirely up to you. Just be aware that He's got a pretty loud room, as you can hear, so if you move across the floor too quickly, he will get alerted. There's also a guard that we saw patrolling that corridor who we were waiting for when we were up against the wall. He's going to be walking on this corridor in front of us here, so opening this door is actually more dangerous than it appears. So you could do the optical cable, but I prefer to... Look at this. This is happening real time, guys. That's not fancy editing or saving or whatever that is. I don't know what that was. That was just hitching the game up. Very frustrating. But we're going to need to be in here. I want to switch the light off, because it's going to lure the guy over here, which is what we want, because this man causes havoc on this corridor. So the best thing to do is to neutralise him. And the best way to do it is how we're doing it. Have you noticed how he's got his torch on, but his torch is not actually on? That's weird. I don't think I noticed that when I first played. But knock him out, and then we're going to dump him into this room we're about to hack. So here is the hacking. Apparently there's a way of slowing this down. I couldn't really speak of that. That's what people have told me, because I was not aware. But drag him into here. And one of the areas that I was missing when I failed this mission a couple times was there's a vent in this room that leads to an optional objective, which is to get some information, and it's one of those objectives that doesn't populate on the list and tell you you failed it because it doesn't exist unless you've done this first part, and I kept forgetting to do it. So that was one of the reasons why I was failing initially, and then after that it was because bodies were being found. So this is one of the things you need to make sure that you do, just in case you forgot or that you didn't realise you had to, because unless you come to here, it doesn't populate as a mission. And it kind of sucks that, but you know, it's on the player to know that you need to do this, as much as it is on the game that it should be a little bit more transparent with the fact that you didn't do it. Because it would be so easy at the end to say that you failed this optional objective, as opposed to never showing that it ever existed, which is you know, it's disappointing, but... These two guys are going to have a conversation. I'm going to double check the goals to make sure that it's ticked off. There it was. Secondary objective, find out the IDSF assault team. If you don't do that, you will never get 100%. I learnt that the hard way. It seems obvious and simple, but it's surprising how easy it is to slip up. Because this is, you know, this is like a 30-minute mission that can easily last an hour, depending on how good you are. But open the door, and we're going to be moving back out. So here you have a choice. You can go down the stairs, or you can go down the drain pipe again. I prefer to go down the stairs, personally, but it's entirely up to you. It's all preference. There is a camera, so be aware of it. Right now, I couldn't see it, but it's one of those things where you play this enough, you know it. And that camera is one of those where, because it is so sneaky, it'll catch you out one time, and then you'll hopefully never forget about it again, because of just the sheer, you know, bullshit of, how dare they, I was doing so well and that camera screwed me. But we're going to be moving back into this storeroom, and we're going to be climbing through the air vent. A couple of things can happen here. When you're climbing through this vent, depending on where the position that the civilian is in will depend on how you're going to react. If he's in this room, and he's just started entering it, you can drop down and knock him out. If he's already in the room and he's not just started entering it, then it gets a little bit more tricky because you have to wait. Right here is an easy place to fail, because sometimes when you knock him out, the guard outside will hear you do it, which I don't really understand too much, but it happens every so often in the game. So, because he isn't in the room right now, I'm waiting for him to start entering it. As soon as he starts entering it, then I'm going to climb out of the vent. Oh, interesting. No, I'm not. Am I going to wait? Oh, I'm waiting for him to exit, sorry, not enter. When he starts exiting, we're going to follow him. So, now we go, I think. Interesting. This is a different strategy. Oh, I'm waiting for the door to show. Okay. So, he should be making his way back to where he's working, but because I'm kind of... Yeah, that was it. You see that? See how the guard was in the rotation animation? He was staring this way. If I'd have gone any time earlier, he would have seen me, because for some reason, he was just over here, kind of alerted. And I think he caught me out. That's why I stayed in the vent longer. You need to be aware that this can happen. It won't always happen, but it can. And it often does. So, push over here, and then save. And what's going to happen is, the next few rooms of the bathhouse are very intimidating, but they're actually really easy, once you know what you're doing. And if you play this as much as I did, you'll know exactly what you're doing. So I put that light out. Hopefully it gets the attention of this guy. It didn't, so I'm going to be able to sneak into this room. I'm going to put out that light. Interesting. So, you have a choice once again. You can knock him down, or you can just push through the room. It's entirely up to you. I think this is one of those first times where I actually did push through the room, because normally I knock that guy out, but I decided to keep him alive. And hopefully it doesn't come and bite me in the ass as we go over here. So, this is going to lead into the pool area. The pool area is really interesting, because it's one of those rooms where so many different outcomes can happen depending on where you move. One of the best ways I've found to do this personally is to do exactly what you're about to see. I climb up here. The two guards are about to coalesce at the far end of the pool. If you walk heavily on these boards, you will get their attention. But however, they can't climb up here, so they have to walk round. And the time it takes them to walk around and get to the ladder that we used, you're already out of the room. So I'm going to do it about now. Oh, interesting, I'm not going to do it. Maybe they saw me. You know, I might have used vision instead of sound. You can use either one. Either one will work. And you'll notice I'll probably spin the camera now as I'm hacking this to show you that they've gone to where I was. So, do you notice how they're queuing up over there? They heard something, they saw something. That's all you need. It becomes very natural once you've done it a few times. So I'm sure you've got your own strategy for that bit. But that's how I do it. And then this next room is a steam room with a couple of different ways to do it. But this is one of those almost too obvious strategies that you stumble across by accident. I actually found this one when I was trying to run away because somebody had seen me, so I was trying to sneak away from him as he came closer, and the only place I had to go was directly over the wall, and it just so happened that nobody could see me, even though you would think they could. And the alternative is much more difficult. So as soon as it fogs up and the conversation begins, you want to walk into this room. He's going to kind of see something, but it doesn't matter, because we're going to climb up onto this, and we're going to already be on the other side of the room before he has a chance to do anything. And then, as quickly as you possibly can, move over to the left where that light is, because you're going to move through the door. And if you do this quick enough, no issues whatsoever. If you're not as quick, you might have a problem, but fingers crossed you should be fine. The second steam room. I think this is the hardest steam room, because every so often the guard here is magic in his ability to spot you. You'll notice he's walking around carefully, which kind of says that he knows something's up, but I don't know if that's because in the last room we got kind of seen but not spotted, so it's made all the guards in that vicinity quite alert, or I just don't know if it's his normal path. It's been a while, folks. What I can tell you is the steam will help, but it's not 100%. So you need to be aware of that. You also need to know that this guy has different paths, so you have to be aware of what he's doing. Sometimes he'll come down this area that I've just walked through, sometimes he goes across the area he just walked through himself. And once you're through here, save, because fuck those rooms. They're not difficult, but they can be finicky. So blow this candle out, and it's going to get the attention of this guy who's just walked up there. Because, you know, who turned off the lights, clearly. And then to our left there is a receptionist desk that has one of the final objectives that we need. So after we've took this dude, which we're just going to clop him because I have no patience for this dude. See you later, friend. I hope you chip your front teeth. And then we can hit this, and this should be the last one if you've done all of them. If this isn't your last one, you failed.
That's the last phone line, Fisher. Cohen sends her thanks.
Now that you've done that, this is where the level starts to pick up, and it picks up in the worst possible way. So, depending on how quickly you've gone through this will depend on the next corridor and where the position of the enemies are. There are two men moving on this corridor. He's the one we want. You'll notice I'm trying to get him to spot me so that he'll come this way. Funny is, you don't need to do that. He's going to come this way anyway. It's just part of his path. And if you're quick enough, you can get into the vent across this corridor before both of these men do anything. But because I was so paranoid with getting spotted, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to try and do something different, because when you keep doing the same thing and failing, you've got to do something different. So this was an alternative way of approaching that room. And be careful, because there is a guy looking in here. He's looking for bugs. You see how his head is like pivoted like an owl? What is he fucking doing? Mad head. But walk through the water this way, climb up onto the bridge, and we're going to sneak into the back area. And this is where it's going to get very particular on how you must do this. So, this is where people start having issues. There is a glitch in this game where you can get spotted while you're in the vent and set off an alarm without any notification to the player. So you do everything at the end perfectly and you still fail. The way to alleviate this is to push forward, trigger the conversation, and then move back in the vent. You want to move back in the vent anyway because it's going to be perfect for the strategy I'm about to show you. And this is all about being fast. So, scan the computer, and then get the hell out of this vent. It's not going to let you though. It's going to let you get to a certain threshold, and then you can only move after the conversation is flash pointed. So there's going to be a little edit come up here. There's the edit. As soon as it says kill Shetland, it's going to enable you to move backwards. So get the hell out of the vent, and now you need to be really fast. Save before this. Make sure you save. Run here, jump down here, do a roll, and then wait for the explosion. As soon as the explosion goes, get in the vent. And there's going to be another explosion. As soon as it explodes, get out of the vent and cross this path. Right now, you need to save, but do not save over the previous save, because you don't know if you got spotted. Right then will be win or lose, and you have no control over it. Because you just don't know. I picked the setup for this very situation because it's the only one that has 3 smoke grenades, and we're going to use a smoke grenade on this next corridor. The next one is the second bullshit area. If you get spotted, you have no way of knowing it happened, and you will fail every time. So to hopefully make sure that doesn't happen, throw a smoke. And once again, save. But do not save over the being in the ventilation shaft as it's all kicking off, because you need that save just in case this doesn't work. Once that is done, if you do those 2 correctly, the rest of the level is easy, because I can show you exactly how to do it, because I've done it so many times. This room used to give me nightmares as a kid when I played it on the PS2. Now, you can do it with very simple allocation of smoke grenades, and it's one of the easiest rooms in the game. However, back in the day I didn't know this, and it was incredibly difficult. You can do this with 1 smoke grenade if you're fast enough, because you can walk in the room up to this piece of cover without the need of cover if you get here quick enough. However, this is with 2 grenades, and you want to save after it so you don't have to do it. And then the next room is one of the rooms that a lot of people have trouble with, but I have done this so many times, you know, I know exactly what it is, I know exactly how it works, and I know exactly how to get around it. So, in this room, everything you do seems to have an effect. Breaking this lock has an effect on the spawn of the enemies. Picking it won't, so there's a choice right there whether or not you want to break it or not. I choose to break it. Come round here, hit this bomb. This bomb's going to give you a checkpoint. It's also going to trigger soldiers. You hear that just then? That is a soldier noticing that the lock is broken and he's stopping to examine it. If you don't break it, he'll not do that, so his positioning will be different depending on whether or not you broke it or you picked it. I break it so that I can get him in the spot I want him in, which is climbing the stairs, and then I'm going to shoot him with a tranquilizer round, or a sticky shocker, sorry. So he's just at the top of the stairs now, so I'm going to just walk with him, and I'm going to shoot him through the slats in the stairs. That is the first guy down. Now, we're going to run. We're going to pick this guy up because there are more soldiers coming, and if they find his body, it's going to class as a body found. There's a chance that that might not actually be true, but the paranoia levels at this point are off the scale. So you want to just do everything you can to give you any kind of bullshit placebo advantage. I'm going to dump him in a darkened corner on the left, because it's the only corner you can get to swiftly, and then still get to the bomb comfortably and be in position for the next wave of guys. Drop him down. Do not do the... Oh, what's this? I'm putting the lights out, okay. You don't have to put the lights out, but sometimes it definitely helps. Even if it's just a moral victory. So drop down here, hit this bomb, and Shetland talks again. So, that was the spawn happening. Did you hear him? That's not going to work again. He's just seen the lock that's broken, so we know exactly where he is. There's 2 of them this time. This is going to delay him, and it's going to completely affect on where he is. Right there, I don't know what I was doing, I just quickly paused it. So, that is them making sure there's nothing at the lock, and now they're going to move, which tells me exactly where they are. At this moment in time, I'm expecting him to come this way, because they're going to speed up on their path to get back to where they are. As soon as he crosses my sight here, I'm going to trank him. However, he might not necessarily be there. There are a few different ways this can happen. There he is, speeding up. See that? As soon as he sees the light, he stops where my aimer was, and we take him out. Then we climb the pipe, because the other guy's not quite as fast, but he's moving towards him. So climb on top of this as fast as you can, and just be careful, because he's just there. He can sometimes be there. He can sometimes be over there where I'm looking now, just about to turn the corner. So depending on where he is on your game will depend on where you need to trank him. But it needs to be done, and you need to be as quick as possible. I'm now going to take out all the lights, just in case, because I'm paranoid. And then we're going to jump across here, and it's going to trigger the final conversation with Shetland. Once this happens, that door in front of us is going to open that you can barely see because it's nice and dark. But I have a really great strategy for doing it. And I stumbled on it by accident because I ran to the door, kicked it open, and there was a guy on the other side and I knocked him out. So that's going to be the strategy I use. But there's a timing to it, guys, because if you do it too early, you'll miss, and if you do it too late, he'll do it to you. But save. I run across, stand up, and then crouch. Because I stood up, I made a noise, and he heard it. It slowed his momentum, and it enables me to do this. Now I've done that, I'm going to shoot that light out because I'm paranoid. We're going to get to the roof, and I can confirm right now that shooting Shetland at the end of this does not count as a kill and will not count against your 100%. There's an edit here because this conversation can suck a dick. I heard it so many times doing this.
You wouldn't shoot an old friend.
Oh, I bloody would. Get out my face. That was the Bathhouse, folks. That is the toughest level in the game to 100%. There it is, folks. Thank you very much for watching. Good luck, and you take care now.